Dr. Shannon PT here with another episode of Need to Know in 5. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about autism and the relationship with our sensory systems in honor of Autism Awareness Month. So we're going to be talking about this topic over the next 2 weeks because this is something very near and dear to my heart. Being a certified autism specialist, I wanted to share some thoughts and information with you on our different sensory systems and how they work. The first thing I want to do is introduce us to our sensory systems. They are our vestibular system, our proprioceptive system, our tactile system, auditory, visual, olfactory and or also known as gustatory, and our interoceptive system. Now, let's take a moment to learn a little bit more about what each of these systems do and how they're unique in our body in processing information. The first system, the vestibular one, has to do with giving us kind of our sense of balance and orientation of where we are in space. And our vestibular system happens in our inner ear. And so this is really important in regards to balance, how we stay upright when the head's maintained in a midline position. The next system is our proprioceptive system, and this system is found in our muscles and joints, and so that gives our body and brain awareness of where it is in space. So a really good way to test out your proprioceptive system is to close your eyes and try to touch the tip of your nose, just like this. When you do that, you can see that even though you can't see where your hand's going, your muscles are firing and giving a message to the brain to let your finger know where to go to touch and point your nose without seeing your hand. The next system is our tactile system, and this is our system that responds to touch and also temperature, which is in our skin. So this is where we're going to get feedback for different things such as deep pressure and light pressure, and also we'll get feedback on something that is hot or cold that our body or our skin is having experience and exposure to. These three systems are actually considered more of our foundation systems when we're working with different aspects of sensory diagnoses and sensory processing issues. So those are considered kind of our three foundation or fundamental ones. Then from there, some of our other systems is the auditory, which is our sense of hearing and sound. We have our visual system, which is our sense of sight in our eyes. The next set of systems we have is our olfactory and our gustatory systems, and these two go together. And the olfactory system is our sense of smell, which is our nose, and then the gustatory system has to do with taste and texture of what we experience when we eat and when things touch our tongue. The olfactory and gustatory systems are linked in many ways, and oftentimes when you're working with somebody who has some difficulties or challenges with eating, you have to work on both systems at the same time to help progress with things such as texture or other areas when you're working with feeding. The last system, which is a newer system that is in the literature, but it's not new in relation to our bodies, is our interoceptive system. And what this system is, it's basically the thought of how our organs operate and function in our body. And so this makes a lot of sense when you think about it in sensory terms of what the interoceptive system is. This is going to be things such as our stomach and things such as our bladder that give us feedback when something's not right internally in our body. So for example, when we're hungry, our bellies may growl, letting us know that it's time to eat. Or when we go to the bathroom, our bladder feels distended and sends a message to the brain that we need to go to the bathroom. The interoceptive system is another system that a lot of new literature is coming out with, but that the studies are finding is so important to understanding this in relationship to autism and individuals with sensory processing issues. How do we put all of this together? Well, the truth is, all of us have sensory things going on. Our whole world is sensory. Regardless if you have a diagnosis or not, you have some type of ability to process and interact with your different sensory systems. So the thing that's important to keep in mind is that it's how we take in this information from our sensory systems, how it's processed and organized together, and the type of response that it gives off. Next week, we're going to be talking about the relationship between our sensory system and our everyday lives. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time on the Need to Know in 5.